Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the fifth round. As always, myself, Stephen Musteris. And man, after this crazy UFC 261 fight card that we just watched on Saturday, um, following Monday, a bunch of news broke. I mean, on Saturday night, technically, Israel Adesanya was confirmed finally, who we all thought it was going to be, Robert Whittaker, Bobby Knuckles, but they actually went with Marvin Vettori in June for the big rematch in Israel Adesanya's return to 185. And man, like initial thoughts, I think is with everybody right now in the world, I think everybody thought that Robert Whittaker deserved this rematch the most out of the two. If you went between Marvin Vettori and good old Robert Whittaker, and I'm a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. I really want to see Robert Whittaker. Although, at the end of the day, if we're going off of previous matchups, which is the whole reason Marvin Vettori is even in this situation, if we're being honest, between the two fights, the first fights with Israel Adesanya, Marvin Vettori clearly had a way better performance. Granted, 3 rounds. Granted, freaking first couple fights of UFC career for Israel Adesanya, and then of course you've seen what happened with him and Robert Whittaker. Finished in the second round, fucking disgusting. Bad news bears. It was ugly. It was pretty much over in the first round with that first hook. So I don't know. But I just like basing it off of performances because every fight's different. For the most part, I should say. And I know that Marvin Vettori's got five fight win streak right now since losing to Israel Adesanya with a split decision. And it's just tough because like I get that he looked amazing against Kevin Holland, but like literally like 3 weeks before that, we saw Derek Brunson just completely put the hammer down. And then so I go back and look at Marvin Vettori's last 5, and the only 2 notable names, Kevin Holland and Jack Hermanson. But then before that, he had a submission, Carl Roberson, Andrew Sanchez, and Cesar Ferreira. Since his loss to Israel Adesanya, and it's just like 2 of those names I know for sure. I mean, I know that I've seen the other guys fight, but like if we're talking contenders, we're talking people that actually matter. Jack Hermanson might be the only logical one that you could go with, and I don't know. It's just tough because I'm sitting here thinking Derek Brunson's almost even got more of an impressive fucking resume right now, even though his last performance against Israel Adesanya was terrible. I'm talking one of the worst ass kickings I've ever seen. But, I mean, he's got a decision win over Kevin Holland, which he did before Marvin Vettori literally laid the blueprint down. TKO Edmund Shabazian, who we all thought Edmund Shabazian was about to run through Derek Brunson. I remember everybody being on the hype train. It was wild. I mean, shit. And then decisions over Ian Heinisch and Elias Theodorou, which Elias Theodorou is not even in the fucking UFC anymore. And Ian Heinisch, I mean, he's in the middle of the road. I would say he's definitely, he's going to kick any of our asses, but like for top contenders, it's like in the UFC, he's definitely not quite there, but he is in the top, I would say a top 15 fighter, top 10 maybe, that 8, 9, 10 fighter, but I don't know if he'll ever be a top 5, but still. And then, of course, I mean, we all know we went Robert Whittaker because he's literally, I know he's 3-0 since he's lost to Israel Adesanya. Darren Till, good old just Kevin Gastelum just put the work on in the Jared Cannonier, which Jared Cannonier and Darren Till were both fighters who Israel Adesanya said, if you win this next fight, you're next. And then who do you know? Robert Whittaker. He's taking out all the number 1 contenders right now. And then it comes to the point now. It's like, okay, I'm not mad. I want to see what Marvin Vettori's got. He was going to be the next opponent anyway. They're saying now Robert Whittaker's for sure the next opponent. But it brings up the question of who's scared of this fight now. For a while, I've been thinking it was Robert Whittaker. At first glance, from this news on Saturday night, for sure thought it was Robert Whittaker's side who was scared. But then I'm hearing reports in the UFC right now that Israel Adesanya is the one that pushed for June. It was like, no, it's got to be June. I want to do June. So it almost seems like he's almost like, all right, I know he won't be ready by June, as in Robert Whittaker won't be ready. So let's go with Marvin Vettori. I feel like it's an easier fight for him. It's a fresher fight, I should say, because it was longer. It took place longer the first fight than it did with our man fucking Robert Whittaker. So Can't blame it. I'm excited for all of them, but I was really interested to see the Robert Whittaker rematch, which I think we all thought was going to happen. But regardless, I'm excited for it. But this has been the fifth round, as always. Myself, Stephen Mustairs. Thank you guys for checking this out, and have a good one.